Hey entrepreneurs, it's AJ and welcome back to Business as Unusual, practical motivation during times of uncertainty. Today's topic is thinking about your business. And I've got a special treat for you guys. I'm catching up with my best friend. She owns a cafe here in Geelong. And she, like every other business out there, has been affected by COVID. We've all been affected by this crisis. And you know what? It really depends on how you think about your challenges. And I know there's so many businesses out there that are really fearful about how things are going to turn out. And in one of my previous videos, we heard about the three types of businesses: the drifters, the shifters, and the innovators. So Lisa's very generously agreed to come on the show and talk to you about her thinking process behind the minute that she was told she had to close her doors through this crisis. So Lisa, hello.
Hello. Good to be here.
Thanks so much for coming on.
Oh, you're welcome.
So, Lisa, tell us what happened during from the moment that you were told that you had to shut the doors of the cafe.
Well, first of all, I burst into tears, as you do.
Right. Wow.
Look, it had been a really uncertain time. I actually didn't quite realise that we would be closing. I don't know if other food businesses thought that, or kind of knew, but I kind of thought we'd continue in a more socially distanced kind of way. And then I had one of my customers come in and say, the Prime Minister's about to come on and, all cafes and restaurants and all of that kind of stuff are going to be shut down. And I just burst into tears. It just completely caught me by surprise. And that was the Sunday afternoon, and by lunchtime on Monday we were closed.
Wow. And so you've been in business for 20 years? No. Feels
I don't
like
look
it.
that old.
How long have you guys been in business for?
So we've been in business for 7 years in October.
7 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
And we thought we'd been through it all, but apparently not.
So all right, so you're forced to close, and it would have been so hard. Like, I know how passionate you are about the business, right? Mm-hmm. And so you close the doors, and then what happened?
It's all a bit of a blur, and I'm sure that is the case for absolutely everyone. I remember on the Sunday afternoon sitting out the front of the cafe, and just my instincts were just, because obviously our business model had started to change because of increased social distancing. So we had to already remove tables. We'd already, quickly put up an online store thinking that that's what we needed to do. And then I sat down and I just kind of had some deep breaths. And I thought, I really need to crunch some numbers here.
What makes you think that? Like, what, because you're so scared, you like, okay, then you go online, because that would be the shifters, shift your entire business online, right?
Yeah.
So you've just made that choice. Okay, I'm just going to do everything online. What made you crunch those numbers?
Well, and I think this situation has probably made a lot of business people speak very honestly about their experiences. And as a cafe, we don't have a bucket load of money behind us. And by the time I'd crunched the numbers on our offering and all of that kind of stuff, my worst nightmare was expecting my staff to stay on and work and not be able to pay them at the end. Because of that great uncertainty, we just didn't know that we could hit the numbers that we needed to hit. Even in normal business, our online, from the 1 week of having an online store, we certainly weren't hitting those numbers in that first week. And so I'm a kind of go, do whatever you can person a lot of the time.
Okay,
And I thought, this is a really serious situation. We can't continue to deliver what we deliver in the way that we do it so well. So our cafe is in the middle of a road, like a highway. It's part of a garden centre. And so it's a destination. It's a
destination cafe.
It's not, Euphoric Food Cafe is not the place that people just pass by. It's a place that people make a conscious decision generally to come to. And so I realised then that, staying open just wasn't going to work for us. It wasn't a risk that we could take. and that we needed to take some time to think.
Yeah, and that's so important, that distinction, that even though everything's happening, a whole bunch of opinions are going on, you have to step away and think.
Yeah.
You know, that hit pause. So one of the things that you did, you were telling me, is that you continued to engage with your customers. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so I think people underestimate in hospitality. I mean, you know, this, I'm talking about a hospitality perspective, but I think this applies to so many different other businesses where that customer service aspect of what you do is so much your point of difference. The way that you manage your customer experience and all of that kind of stuff is what can really make you stand out. And so for us, I wanted to stay in touch with our customers, not just for them, but for me as well. And that's helped me greatly. But I thought, you know what, I can, you know, people are at home, they're cooking, because of all the shortages, they probably don't have all the ingredients that they need. And one thing I hope to do for them was to not only create a social experience, obviously not physically, but to get online. I did some live videos. I was cooking live, you know, demonstrating what, you know, you can use instead of certain ingredients, and just trying to help people cook with confidence at a time when some people are cooking for the first time. Yeah,
it's insane what people are doing. So you kept those videos going, and then all of a sudden JobKeeper happens, right?
Yeah, JobKeeper.
So what about that?
Yeah, so I mean, I think I don't know what everyone else's experiences with JobKeeper have been. I have been in quite close contact with my, you know, hospitality colleagues. We've got sort of a really nice community of people that, you know, own cafes and restaurants and stuff where I am. And, you know, even then, I think we all thought it was just this beacon of light, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm never I will work really hard towards something, but I'm never fully confident about it until the money's in the bank kind of thing.
Of course, yeah.
And one of the things, you know, I put a rant up on Facebook about, you know, do people realize that this is a reimbursement? We've got to find this money from somewhere to pay our staff when we haven't been trading. And, you know, we got down to our last couple of $100, you know.
Yeah.
It's really scary. And I had to suddenly work out, and, you know, everyone else who wanted to do JobKeeper as well needs to work out where they're going to find this money to pay their staff a month's wages, like $3,000 per staff member, from nothing, you know?
Yeah.
And
the regulations around JobKeeper, was that really straightforward? You just went to a website, go, yep, and then apply?
Yeah, no, of course not. And you know what, we have to keep in mind that it's not just us that are in uncharted territory. Everybody is. The government is, the politicians are, service providers, everything, bookkeepers, accountants, the whole thing.
The ecosystem,
you know, absolutely. And so, you know, but that obviously, you know, causes a lot of stress. And, you know, you start to wonder in your own little bubble whether you're the only one experiencing this stress, or, you know, the lack of knowledge is the thing that really sort of was doing my head in. So I found myself on every website, contacting every person, trying to get answers to my questions that I was like, you know, do you need to get approved for JobKeeper? Do you get like a magical letter that says you're going to get it? Well, you actually don't. You enroll and you know, you go through that process, and you got to make sure you pay your staff. But, you know, I think, you know, that they're, you know, creating the plane as they're flying it. And so, you know, that you know, nobody's done anything like this before, so we have to be understanding of that. But, you know, wondering where, in our case, we're going to get $9,000, $12,000 from. And a lot of workplaces need to find a lot more money than that. But we're just a tiny little cafe, and it was really stressful. It was really hard. And my heart was pounding every morning, sweating the whole bit, you know, trying, you know, and you want to be able to make this happen for your staff and to keep them connected and a part of the euphoric family. So, and there were, you know, we wish we had hindsight with all of this, because at the end of the day, it's all, you know, hopefully, like, you know, we put the thing in and we get, you know, the reimbursement, but, you know, the banks come through with an overdraft, and, we've been approved for the Victorian $10,000 grant. There's no money still.
Yeah.
But those things are moving in the right direction. But we don't know. We don't know how it works.
And that's a really important point that you mentioned, that everyone's in the same situation, so you don't really know. Everyone's trying to figure this out. As you said, the plane's flying, and we're figuring out, how to make it fly, how to keep it flying. So JobKeeper's come in, and you took their money, you paid your staff, and everything's happy days.
That's exactly how it works. Yeah.
What did you do to? Because and this is the difference between a drifter, a shifter, and an innovator. A shifter and an innovator. It's that you didn't just go online. You had to rethink the way you did business, right?
Well, I mean, if we had just gone online, we wouldn't be here right now having this conversation, because I know now it wouldn't have worked for us. We would have ended up digging ourselves into such a hole that, JobKeeper, grants, whatever, wouldn't have got us out of it. We've also been extremely blessed to have wonderful suppliers, wonderful landlord, all of that kind of stuff, that we've had to have those conversations. It's very hard to say to people, look, we just don't have any money right now. We're trying to get some money and we'll, make good on everything. But this is where we're at, and so is everybody. So we've been, it's created a really great community of people coming together, which is so fantastic. But if I had made that decision that Sunday to just go online and keep going, we wouldn't be here right now. So when we knew, and this is the thing, I guess it's about security and it's about certainty, and they're kind of two things we don't have at the moment.
That's a really good point.
And so it's very hard to make the decision to stop your business when you don't have that certainty as well. Sometimes the easy option is to just keep going and just to see how it's going to go. And I think that's been hard for a lot of people. But, once I was able to reach some certainty, I thought to myself, well, okay, how do we move forward from here? And we also have to be extremely cautious because we still don't have unlimited means. We actually have to do our relaunch, if you like, within our means. And I think we're all learning to live and work within our means, because we have to just make judgment calls on what's before us right here and there, because we never know when the next press conference is going to happen.
It's true.
The next things that's going to change.
Do you feel as though those press conferences, even though they deliver information, it's almost like a bomb's gone off, and then you have to look at, okay, what's the new information coming in? How does this fit into the existing picture? And move accordingly. Yeah,
I think so. Some of the press conferences have been really good and reassuring, but then they come up, in 3 days' time and say, oh, actually, I don't know if anyone was really in the business world was that excited about our early mark as far as the Prime Minister was concerned about, loosening restrictions, because we're like, oh, but we were just getting used to what was happening and operating in that environment. And what environment are we going to be operating in next week? Because not only do they tell you there's going to be a change, but they give you no real indication of what that change is going to be. And so that's very difficult.
And they can't too.
They can't. They can't. They don't know.
You got to have this, and I hope you're hearing this from what Lisa's saying, is that you got to have this mindset where no matter what happens, you move. You have to be adaptable, agile, I believe is the word they call it.
Yeah, exactly. But it's also about, it's okay to be conservative. It's okay to not just throw everything out there and hope for the best. I think, how do you need an elephant? You eat it one bite at a time. So you just step through things hour by hour, day by day. And sometimes you've just got to stick to your guns. So for us, we have been very clear. So we've got a new online store that we've partnered with another great, a group of guys that have built this amazing online presence, which is just fantastic.
Cool. And I'll go into that a little bit further. So can you talk to us about what decisions did you make to rethink how your staff operate?
So I guess, you've got staff, they're getting paid, that's fantastic. So for me, it was about it's not even about raising revenue. It was about, being ready for whatever happens next. And so, inevitably the cafe's been sitting there for 6 or 7 weeks.
Yep.
I've popped in and done a few bits and pieces, but on the whole, it's just been sitting there.
Yeah.
And so we clean, and, you clean, you sort, you organise, and getting it all back into working order again, not only, I think gives our team, a real sense of purpose and excitement. I mean, they've been sitting at home waiting for JobKeeper, waiting for what's going to happen next. So, we're very conscious about how people go back to work, social distancing, all of that kind of stuff. I don't believe that just because you're at work, you don't have to socially distance. That's not how we operate. We've got 2 immune suppressed people, so we have to be very conscious of how we do that. Even in terms of picking up, it's contactless pickup, contactless delivery. Like, we will not be putting anybody at risk.
So you're rethinking the way your operations work down to
asking our staff to come back to us with what coming back to work looks like for them.
That's huge. Employee engagement, letting the employees drive what that looks like.
And making sure they're not afraid to say if they don't feel comfortable coming back. Maybe they can do some menu planning and, research from home, or, one of our staff members is going to work alone, so she'll go in and bake eventually and cook and all of that sort of stuff, but she'll be there by herself, and that's what she feels comfortable doing at this point in time, and I completely and wholeheartedly respect that. I've got 2 other staff that are happy to go in together, and they will socially distance while they're there, but we are able to do that in our space. But one of the decisions that I have made is that people will not set foot into the cafe. We've pushed our display case up against our front doors, and we will be doing business that way without people walking into our space, and doing it that way, so that we can go back to work and feel safe, because we aren't on the front line. We're not doctors and nurses and teachers, and they're doing like the most amazing job putting themselves on the line every single day to make our world go round. And as important as cafes and food and coffee are, we are in a privileged position that we don't have to put ourselves at risk like that.
That's so true.
And so we should respect that privilege and not put ourselves at risk, and make sure that we're protecting our healthcare system and all of that kind of stuff. So
wow.
But it was really about looking at the staff, talking to them about what they feel comfortable doing. One of our staff members will be doing delivery. She's more than happy to do that. One of our other staff isn't so comfortable with that, and so that needs to be a big part of the conversation. And it's we think, we're so used to just being together and having conversations, but we're on Zoom and we're on Messenger and we're talking to each other and discussing things and getting used to that way of communication as well, which is very different to what we're used to in a hospitality setting.
That adaptability is really strong. So, all right, the exciting thing is, I hear you've got an online store now.
Yeah, we just launched it last night.
Talk to us about how that came about, because so already JobKeeper's come in, you're thinking about, all right, what does reopening look like? Then what happened?
Look, I don't want anyone to think that putting an online store for a cafe is an innovative thing. It's not. It's not. Everyone's doing it.
You're right. It's not, right? Yeah. But the technology you're using, and I've been around software systems for a very long time, and this thing out there is truly, it could go toe to toe with the best user experience design software. So yeah. So a cafe colleague of mine and his brother-in-law have been working pre-COVID-19, I should say, on an online ordering system to trump every other one out there. And the beauty of this system is that it's just so bloody easy to use. Cannot believe the simplicity in it.
So good. But simplicity is not, doesn't mean it's not beautiful and it's not amazing. And it has a lot of capability, but it is so simple. And working with these guys that are so open to feedback, able to build things, because they're new, they're taking feedback, they're, evolving as things go on. And, that we've even adapted it to, another family business of ours. That's a fruit and veg shop. So it's not just for cafes. They've done some bottle-os and bits and pieces like that as well. So, that really gave me the confidence to go, we're going to go online. We're going to go online with these guys. And we're going to make it happen. And look, we pulled it together. They pulled it together extremely quickly for us, so much so that we've been able to...
A lot of late nights, eh?
Yeah. But even, it's just an amazing system. It is so simple to kind of get it started, which is great. And that's a testament to their amazing hard work behind the scenes. But yeah, it's already up and working. We're getting orders coming in already.
Yeah, wow.
And, look, it isn't innovative to go online, but I think what has been a bit different is having, I don't want to sound, this will come out however it comes out, but just having the courage to stop in what is a very stressful time and really just, it sounds a bit airy-fairy, but like center yourself, clear your mind, take some deep breaths and think, okay, this is the knowledge that I have. I don't know what's going to happen, but let's work it through. And, one of the best things I think to do in a crisis like this is to reach out to people who you can trust and other people in your industry and just have a really open and honest conversation, because I think that's been one of the most beautiful things. And also, even though you're having those conversations and this cafe's doing this and that cafe's doing that and this restaurant's doing something else, to not be overwhelmed by all of that and the sense of pressure to do something that, might not really work for you. You have to understand that every business, no matter what industry you're in, is completely unique. And for us, we can't run, like, we're not going to go and turn our coffee machine on and turn our sandwich press on and go and create a whole bunch of food and put it in the display case and hope that people come, because we're not like in a shopping strip, or we're not located next to a major supermarket. We don't have that foot traffic. We're surrounded by closed businesses. So for us, people can come and pick up what they've ordered online. We're doing take-home meals, we're doing, slices of cake, all of that sort of stuff. But it's not like a, order and come and pick up in 15 minutes or get it delivered in 15 minutes. We're actually giving ourselves the time and space to go, okay, you order on these days and then it's available for pickup or delivery on these days.
Yeah.
So
doing it on your terms.
We're doing it on our terms, but not in an egotistical way, just because we don't have any money to pay for the electricity bill if nobody comes and orders any coffee. And we've ordered milk and beans and, we've had that coffee machine heating all the time. It's actually thinking about those little things. If we go back to full service and hope that people come, we've got every refrigerator on, we've got the oven on, we've got everything. Whereas the way we're doing it is we're getting people to order on certain days, and then by a certain time we go, okay, this is what we've got, and we make it. So we're not putting on fridges that we don't need. We're not ordering ingredients that we don't need. We're being conservative.
And one of so just on that point, like, I know that a lot of people think entrepreneurship, entrepreneurs are risk takers. Well, no, real entrepreneurs, right? They don't take risks. We analyze all the risks and we mitigate them, right?
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
Mitigate the risks.
Yeah, you have to. And you have to do, ultimately, as a business owner, what you feel comfortable with. We're always pushing ourselves a little harder. That's healthy. And it's not that we take zero risks. Everything is a risk, but you have to just have, I think what entrepreneurs do is they think, they take, they tap into those people that they that they know think in a similar way to them. And because it's really important that you don't take on every little bit of feedback.
Amen to
that is, that was probably the first 3 years of the cafe. Everyone's like, oh, you should do this and you should do that and you should do something else. And I was like, oh my God, I can't. Then in the end, I was like, no, you should do that. Why? Because they're not the ones that have to pay the bills at the end of the day and work out how that's all going to happen. And, it's all good to offer, delivery to every person free of charge and all that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, if you spend like 8 hours delivering 5 boxes to people, that is not going to work. It is not the best use of your time. So it is about, don't, in an uncertain time, don't be afraid to sort of dip your toe in and test the waters.
Experiment.
See what works. I went to the packaging place this morning to get some boxes for our Mother's Day thing, and I said, I'll have 10 boxes, and I thought to myself, well, I've already sold 6, so maybe I'll just get 20.
Yep.
I didn't order a whole box. I didn't order 50. And I know that I can go back there later on in the week and go, actually, I'll have the full box, because we've made relationships with our supplier. She even said to me, she goes, you've supported us even before all of this. So we'll give you the box price, even though you haven't bought a box, because we know that you're always looking after us.
Wow.
So that's the beauty of also having that network of people and suppliers and things that you trust and that do business the way that you do business too.
So important. All right. So there's a lot of businesses out there that are really struggling and they're fearful, and they've been watching some of my videos and they're learning a few things, but you're actually a person who's gone through it and you've just showcased so beautifully the real raw process of what it's like. It's not sexy. It's not highlights. There's a lot of tears behind the scenes, a lot of late nights, lack of sleep, stress, everything. What would be, if you could give all these people out there one piece of advice, that really sums up your experience out of all of this, what would that be?
I don't want to by any means come across like I have got this formula right, that I've got it all worked out. We literally launched our online store last night. We've got some orders. We're thrilled with that. And I know wouldn't want anyone to think that, this is how you do it, because we don't really know. We don't know. We don't know. So what I would say is the most important thing is that if your business is closed or trading at a lot less, make sure, I know this sounds strange, make sure you take some advantage of that and just relax. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity where we can simplify our lives a little bit. And so please take that opportunity to just breathe. Be with your family, connect, with the people that you love, do something that you love to do. Because I have done that. There's been days when I'm like on the phone with the bank, and even on a Sunday, I'm like, they're working on Sunday. What the hell? This is the bank.
Yeah.
And that's great, and so you might have to pick up things and do things and, running around with your head chopped off. That's fine. That's what being in business is all about. But really just over Easter, I turned off my phone. I didn't watch any news. I didn't expose myself to any social media whatsoever, and I just took some time. And I think that really helped me to just clear myself of all the chatter and center and go, okay, and it comes to you more easily.
Yeah.
And it's about listening to what your gut is telling you. And I've always said this, no matter what crisis or whatever. I mean, we thought we'd seen it all, like, low electricity, fire in the kitchen, cutting my finger off, getting burnt, being sick, everything. We thought we'd seen everything. We've never seen a pandemic, I can tell you that right now. But, take that time to, look after yourself.
Huge.
You have to look after yourself before you can look after everybody else. Yeah. As AJ says, put your mask on. Make sure that you're right so that you can then help everybody else. And that is so important, because we need to bring calm and certainty to our staff, to our customers, but also be honest as well and say, this is really stressful. This is really hard. Bring them along on that journey with you. And, that's been the beautiful thing. We haven't been able to be open but we still have communicated with our customers. I know it's really hard, but do a Facebook Live. Tell people. I did a Facebook Live while I was doing my nails because I miss getting my nails done. So we sat down with the people on Facebook on a cafe website, on a cafe page, doing our nails. Yeah, it was a bit quirky and it's a bit funny, but hey, it's a quirky, funny world out there right now.
It is.
So don't be afraid to push yourself a little bit out of your comfort zone, but do what you can to find that relaxation, to take that time to slow down. It's okay. And you don't need to go as fast as everybody else. Just because someone else is going really, really fast, it doesn't mean it's actually working. So just...
That's so true.
And that's the thing. True. So just step by step, it's not a race. It's literally not. It feels like it is sometimes. It is not a race.
I love that.
And in a week's time, we might be sitting here and I'll say, you know what? We sold 4 Mother's Day high tea boxes. That was it. We didn't do any more than that. And so be it. That will be a learning experience as well. But take the learning and make the decisions. And, it's okay to be conservative. You don't need to just throw everything at it. Take this time to look after yourself. Reimagine your business and what it might look like. This is an opportunity for us to develop our online presence that we didn't have the time to do before. So we hope to bring whatever we hopefully generate online into whatever the new normal looks like in the future.
And that's what's so exciting. So in my keynote, I talk about, a crisis is a terrible thing to waste, and this is that opportunity. And what Lisa said before, when you slow down and you actually give yourself space, right? You're not flooding your brain with, endorphins and adrenaline and all those crazy ass chemicals, right? And so your creativity steps in. The ideas don't happen when you're going 100 miles an hour. They happen after you've got all this stuff and you give yourself space to let everything breathe.
Yeah.
And I've seen that, in everything that you've done. You'll take all these ideas and even during this crisis, take all this stuff in and just breathe. And then, it was just...
And it takes a lot of learning to do that. I mean, I've cried many tears, screamed many screams, hit many tables over the time. If you asked anyone, they wouldn't think I was the most calm person getting around. But these are things that we have to learn in a crisis. And, I think maybe it has been isolation where I'm not surrounded by people where I can go blah, 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 all the time. I have just been, with myself, with my husband, with my inner circle of people. So it kind of does stop that chatter and that constant feedback as well. And back yourself. Like, we're all doing the best that we can, and don't feel guilty for taking advantage of the crisis and just taking some time out for yourself. I felt a bit guilty about that. I thought, well, a lot of people don't have this privilege. But if you are lucky enough, then, take that time to heal and to have a rest because, being in business is full on, as you know. It's
full on.
It's full on. It never ends, and until it ends. And we never thought 6 months ago we'd be sitting here talking about our closed cafe and how we're going to, bring ourselves back and reinvent ourselves.
Yeah, wow.
We thought we'd done all that.
Liz, thank you so much for your incredible generosity of time and energy, and really sharing the realities of what it's like in business. It's not about being your own boss and taking control of your life. This is what it's like. And
and then I just want to be clear, we haven't necessarily got it figured out.
No one has.
No one has. And that's where the biggest comfort has come for me when I've talked to other people and they've gone, yeah, I'm struggling with that too. Because chances are everyone is struggling with something, some component, all of it. And I just think, we need to connect together and support each other at this time and wear your heart on your sleeve a little bit. It's okay that it's not easy. And on those days that get really hard, sometimes it is okay to put the doona over your head and go back to sleep and deal with it, tomorrow.
Yeah. Amen to that.
Absolutely.
Alrighty, guys, a bit of an extended episode today, but I hope you realize that, I asked Lisa here to come on board and share these things because I know there's so many people out there that are really struggling, and I believe that, and I hope that we've given you some hope, even if it's just a little bit of a smile at the doggies running around in the background. But, this is what it takes to really sort of navigate a crisis. And like Lisa said, she doesn't have the answers. I don't have the answers. We're all in this together, figuring it out. And we're all going to get through this together. So I hope that serves you well. And thank you, Lisa. Thank you so much for a brutally honest look at what what it really takes to be in business. So
yeah, and look, if you want to have a chat, I don't have as much to do as I normally do, so get in touch with AJ, and I'd be more than happy to connect if you just need someone to chat to or whatever. Because I think you sometimes just need to get it off your chest.
Cool. Thank you so much.
No worries.
All right, entrepreneurs, whatever happens in business and in life, we wish you nothing but success. Take care, be safe, and go ahead, relax, and reimagine how your business could be. Peace.